Boomer Sooner.
Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer up.
Sooner Terry.
And we are coming at you from the Podcast Palace in beautiful Norman, Oklahoma.
Where we are not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma.
But we do have eligibility left. And guess what, Rob?
They might need us.
October 19th. Walk-on tryouts, brother.
We're all over that, Terry.
So you think maybe we can talk to Toby T-Row, see if he can't get us enrolled in his class and show up for walk-on?
Yeah.
There's only like five things to five criteria to meet. You got to be a student. You got to have a 2.0 GPA. You got to pass a physical.
I don't know about any of those, Terry. But I want some of them big 80s pads, you know?
Yeah, really. Yeah. We want the
with the big neck roll.
You know, the Brent Venables pads. Have you seen his
Bay
playing days where they're up here on his ears? But we got a great podcast for you, everybody. We're gonna talk about the Kansas State game and look ahead to this week's TCU game. But as we know, our Oklahoma Sooners got kicked right in the marbles, Saturday night
sad.
against
sad
Kansas State, 41-34. Had to get my glasses on here so I can see stats and all that fun stuff. But Rob, what'd you think? Now that you have time to slept on it twice.
I don't know, Terry. It's one of those things that I was worried about this, wasn't I? I was worried about it. You know, we made Adrian Martinez look like a daggum Heisman Trophy winner. We've done that before. Right? We made the kid from Tulane look like a daggum Heisman Trophy winner. We made Casey Thompson, not this year, but last year at Texas, look like a Heisman Trophy winner. I don't know. I think the defense after the first quarter played. They didn't play very well.
Well, 41 points. No, you're not playing.
Didn't play very well. Just they couldn't get to him, and they couldn't tackle him when he took off running. But I think the main thing coming out of that was I think the offensive line got handled quite a bit, and the defensive line for that matter got handled quite a bit. I thought they run blocked pretty well, but they pass blocked pretty well, but the run blocking, some of that was all Eric Gray. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I thought at any moment in that game, I never felt like the game was out of hand. You know what I mean? Even though they got up 14 points a couple of times, I just thought any minute this is going to click. You know, they're going to get it figured out. And like Brent Venables said, basically we never did. We started off on our heels. We played back on our heels. We overplayed. We tried to do too much in different positions, too much out of position. Kind of hinted that maybe, shockingly, that this game was maybe a little bit bigger than what they were anticipating. The players were anticipating. Not that they weren't ready for it, but maybe they just weren't ready to get clocked onto their heels quite yet and didn't respond real well to it.
Well, honestly, we didn't play. We played a bad game. Just to be honest with you, they played terrible, and we still only lost by a touchdown.
Yeah.
So if we can,
and still could have won the game.
Still could have won that. We just couldn't tackle him.
We had
him fourth and or
third and 16, and you make that play, and and that's when again I have season tickets. I come and go when I want to games, but we left after that play. Teresa has to. We got to fight the crowd to get out with her walker and everything. But, apparently, I missed a little bit because we ended up scoring and then almost got an onside kick. The game was never out of hand. But here's the thing. Well, I think none of the fans realize, or we don't want to realize it, or we're not paying attention to it. Coach Klieman can coach. Okay. What, he won 5 or 6, 7 national titles in Division II. The guy knows what he's doing, and I'm just telling you, this is my own personal opinion. I think that guy plans for Oklahoma all year long. That's his game. We're going to beat Oklahoma.
We seen him lose the week before to Tulane, and they looked horrible.
Yeah, and
they scored 10 points on Tulane.
My point in that is that you go back since he's been there. I mean, he's 3-1 against 3-1 against Oklahoma. He beat Lincoln back to back. Finally got over it last year, but they don't play any game like they play the Oklahoma game. It's like they put everything out on the table. You know, a couple of years ago, Teddy was talking to us, and our buddy JY was like, if you look at the tape and study the tape in that game in 2019, I guess it was, when he goes, they faked trap plays. Nobody faked trap plays. They had guards running out to nowhere just to get the linebackers to chase the guards.
Yeah, so, and here's what's going to happen. Adrian Martinez, whoever they play this week, I think that's, I forgot already. He's going to go out and throw 3 picks.
Texas Tech. They play Texas Tech.
You know, I mean, it's unexplainable.
Yeah.
It's just unexplainable. They just played a horrible game. I mean,
yeah. And, you know, we went to the coaches show, you know, like we always do on Monday nights, and watching the playbacks, and I remember I turned to you and was like, how did we lose this game?
How did we?
You look at
what?
There were so many good things. There were so many good things happening in the game, but it's like they said, you know, the penalties just as
bad.
The at every single wrong time to have a penalty, you know, and then, you know, the one special team. And what got me was what Venable said last night about the kickoff. They knew. It's like every 6th kickoff, they run it back. You know, it's like, you remember he said, and our guys went down there, it was kicked in the same spot, the same thing. They let up thinking he's going to, you know, fair catch it, and he doesn't, catches us on our heels. But he and an attorney said, but we planned for, we knew they did this. You know, this was time for them to return a kick. You know, they did, and they did, and the guys just didn't do it. And credit to this staff, I'm serious, is they're like, hey, this ain't all on them. We obviously didn't prepare well enough. We didn't make sure they were ready for certain things. We didn't adjust well, but don't count us out. So
yeah, it just sucks that the offense comes out and it doesn't look, you know, it doesn't look good. You know, he missed some wide open receivers, but he made some great throws too.
Yeah.
So,
and before we go on, I'm looking at the screen.
Hard to take.
I'm looking at the screen here. Dude, I got like a sty in my eye that is driving me insane right now. And it looks like I've been in a fight with Mike Tyson, doesn't it? Is my eye all swollen up and puffy?
Listen, you'd be dead.
That's why I feel like, Adrian, I keep seeing myself, and it's like I'm trying to make my eye open up more. But
you might have gotten in a fight with Teresa, but that's not Mike Tyson. That's not Mike Tyson blow right there.
But my eye is killing me, and I can hardly see out of it. But like I said, you know, I mean, God, when you look at these stats, you go, how did we lose this game? 26 of 39, 330 yards, 8.5 average for Dylan Gabriel, 80.8 QBR. Eric Gray, 16 for 114 yards. But on the other end of it, 21 for 34 for Martinez, 21 carries, 148 freaking yards.
That's what did it, man.
That's it.
Listen, right, Deuce Vaughn's going to get his. I mean, Deuce Vaughn is just that good.
Yeah.
But you can't let their quarterback run for $150.
Yeah, just
you can't run for $150 on you.
Yeah. And there was just so many things that I think that shocked. I don't want to say that I think that this coaching staff didn't think that this team would react the way they did. They didn't respond as they were anticipating them to respond.
So do you feel like this is one of those games where we're like, hey, let's throw our helmet out on the field,
No,
and they'll just say, oh,
no, I think, honestly, I think from hearing what, Venables has said is they anticipated the coaching staff had anticipated these guys to respond better to that competition, and they got on their heels and they never got off. You know what I mean? And that was some leadership. And then you heard some of the players say, I've got to do better as a leader. We should have rallied ourselves better, and we didn't do it. They got popped in the mouth. They got popped in the mouth hard, and they kept getting popped in the mouth. And
now they got the tough road.
Yeah. And then, Venables even said, there was one point in time where they got three and outs back to back. You would think then we had the upper hand, and then they break down again on the next.
Well, here's what's bad, Terry. If we play like that against TCU, they're going to beat us. Or if we play like that against Texas, they're going to beat us.
If we play like that again, we're in trouble.
And I'm going to tell you something. The number one team of the Big 12 is coming.
Kansas.
God, we better not lose.
But here is the stat of the game: 4 of 13 on third downs. Oh,
that's bad.
Horrible. But 550 yards of offense, gave up way too much on defense. But 330 in the air, 220 rushing. It's about what Oklahoma does. Yep. But on the other end, what Oklahoma defense hasn't done is give up the same thing, 234 and 275 and
41.
And 41. But again, maybe I'm alone in that. I just kept standing there thinking. I was never mad. I was just like, any moment this team is going to click. They're going to fit. They're going to find it. They're going to fix that problem. And they just never did.
Never did, and never got a hand on Adrian Martinez.
Yeah. At all. Yeah. But again, we've talked to turn off my phone here. I forgot to do that again. I know you haven't seen it, but I told you last night that if y'all haven't seen the TV show on Hulu, Shoresy, it's about a hockey player. You just have to see it, but it's hilarious. But I said, Venables reminds me of Shoresy, because I don't think Venable likes to win as much as he hates losing. Because when he started talking about the loss and the thing, you could see it in his body language. You know what I mean? His face turned red. He kind of tightened up, and we just didn't. You could just see it. And it wasn't that they, he's not that animated when they win, but he hates to lose. And I love that about this guy. He hates losing more than he likes winning. And I think that's a plus.
Yeah,
I know it's a weird concept, but that's what, it just seems like it irritated him so much to have to talk about losing and the disappointment in himself and the team, but mainly in himself,
Well, I hate to be a Debbie Downer or whatever, and I don't try to be, but like people were asking me before the game, like Caleb said, hey, Rob, what's going to take for you to believe that this team has a chance? And I'm like, well, we need to go out this game and handle it, right? And we didn't.
Yeah. What about next game? So if we handle next game, are we going to believe it?
We always lose one that we shouldn't lose.
Yeah.
And there was. So hopefully they get things turned around, and now we look like a dominant force again.
No, but let's get one thing straight. Sometimes when you go out, you are Debbie, right?
Sometimes.
Just not Debbie Downer.
Right. Well, that's only on Friday nights, Terry.
So,
you're getting that mental picture. I know. Stop thinking about me like that, you perv.
But No, I bought into them, and I still do. I still think, I'm not going to say it was a fluke, because K-State came out there well prepared, and I'm telling you, I'm a believer in, if Nebraska don't go get Klieman, they're insane.
Right. You know something. If Brent wasn't here, I would want Klieman.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think we even talked about that last
We
year.
did talk about it. Yeah. I told you, that's a good coach right there.
Yeah.
Just think if he was coaching a bunch of 5-star kids, Terry. I mean, come on.
And that's the thing. K-State's not a better team than that. They were better prepared and they outplayed Oklahoma, but there's no way they're a better football team in this.
We got better athletes across the board.
Yeah.
Across the board. They're working with 2 and 3 stars at best.
But you look at K-State the last several years, and they have played their very best game against Oklahoma. And then they'll go out and drop 3 eggs, 4 eggs the rest of the season. But I think that, Klieman's hanging his hat on. If I go out and beat Oklahoma,
they all do.
Good. Yeah.
And that's what was it, Toby? I can't remember who said it. We get everybody's best shot because we're the
Brent did.
We're the big dog.
Yeah, that's one of the things. He goes, everybody plays us. We're their national title game. Everybody hates Oklahoma. Everybody wants to beat Oklahoma. So we have to prepare.
The world, baby.
Yeah, and like he said, we have to prepare like it's the national title game every year, because we're getting that from them. So they just didn't do it this past week, and they got to pull themselves up by the bootstrap.
Unfortunately, and, now they got to take the long, hard road to get anywhere they're going.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But you know what? Venables has been in this position before. Oklahoma has been in this position before. When it's with Clemson always lost the game they shouldn't.
Well, I think for us being, all new and rebuilding and whatever else, we're gonna have to go undefeated if we're gonna make the playoffs. I think it'll take an undefeated rest of the season, and probably we'll need to look like world beaters doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. But before we get into talking about TCU, let's talk about our new little partnership here, Rob. Show your cup, Rob. Oh, no, yeah, your drinking cup. Guys, this is...
I'm not going to show them the other one.
This is the Flask Cap. Now, if you saw on Twitter and you saw us on Facebook, we put a little infomercial out there about the Flask Cap. It is a drinking system, as you see Rob taking it apart. It comes apart. You got a lid and your cup. You put your mixing beverage and ice in the cup, in the Flask Cap cup.
Whether that's Coca-Cola or just
Sprite,
whiskey.
Yeah, or whiskey. And then you put your alcohol, your whiskey,
or Coke,
or whatever in your cap. Screw it back on, start drinking, and as your day goes on, this little button at the top rations up your drink with more alcohol. So there's not any of this opening up and opening more bottle, pouring it in. You pour your alcohol in.
Big mixed drink right there.
Pretty sure I think it holds a cup of alcohol in it. So boom. Now the cool thing about it is that you can get the combo, the Flask Cap combo, which comes with the cup and the cap. Or if you got your own cap, it's got to be a screw in. When you go online to find it, it'll tell you all the brands and which cap to buy. You can just buy the cap and put it on your favorite cooling cup. So where you get them at, it's www.flaskcap, that's FLASKAP.com. Go in, pick either your combo or just your cap. When you check out, use the promo code Sooner10, Sooner10, and you get 10% off of your order. First order only. You can't go and buy one every other day and keep getting it. But once you get your one, but again, go check them out. It's our new podcast partner. And we're really glad that they've stepped in to help us out. And if y'all want to help us out, help Flask Cap out, buy a cup. But they're really cool. Teresa you know, as y'all know, the lovely Teresa, she's not a big alcohol drinker, but what she did at the tailgate, and you can use it at a tailgate, you can use it anywhere you want, but she put Sprite in it, and then grenadine, because she likes the old Roy Rogers or cherry Sprite, and she just used it with the grenadine. So you don't have to use alcohol in it, but with a name like Flask Cap, I think you're supposed
Makes more sense.
But anyway, go check them out. Oklahoma's taking on the TCU Horned Frogs this Saturday at 11 a.m. in Fort Worth. Rob and I will be at the Lynx Golf Club playing in the Lexington Bulldog Golf Tournament, which is why I'm wearing my new Sooners golf shirt. So we'll be listening to T-Row call the game on the radio. They ask us to come out and play. That's where we play at. They asked us to play in the tournament this weekend.
Yeah, it's just because we're famous, Terry.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
We're the celebrity golfers.
yeah. So we're gonna show up out there, hit some golf balls, listen to T-Row, and hopefully we won't throw clubs because there's bad football on the radio. But,
Bad golf on the golf course.
yeah, we can pretty much count on bad golf on the golf course, right?
Well, I have been known to throw a club or two.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
You've been known to hit me with a thrown club before.
Well, that's true.
You
If I'm
butthole.
going to throw it, I might as well hit you with it. Am I right?
This is true. But we go into TCU at 11 a.m. TCU has beaten Colorado 38-13. Tarleton. I didn't know there was a Tarleton College.
Not a cigarette.
Thought it was a town in Texas, and a cigarette. 59-17, and beat SMU 42-34. And then they believe last week they had an off week last week. So
Well, it's going to be the same. It's going to be we're their Super Bowl. You know, they're going to come in and put up a fight. I can just promise you they are.
well,
Hopefully.
I was half right about Tarleton. They're the Tarleton Texans. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, again, a team that is solid both offensively and defensively. Sonny Dykes
Got
head
the
coach.
fastest guy, at least in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Maybe in the nation, but at least
Yeah,
in the
and
Big 12.
what was hilarious, they showed him Venables. He was just like slobbering, like, look at that boy run, like, oh, I want a piece of him. Look at him
Call
go.
that kid. Hey, come on back over here to Oklahoma.
But
He does have some wheels.
yeah, he does have some wheels. I mean, but they're undefeated.
I mean, rather than punt it to him, I wish we just turned sideways and punt it straight out of bounds. If we ever have to punt, I hope we punt it out of bounds.
But Max Dugan, quarterback, is 47-61 for 695 yards, and like we've said before, and he's got a 77% completion percentage.
Now, don't they have one of our quarterbacks that transferred there?
Chandler Morris.
Chandler Morris.
Yeah.
That's it.
His average is 11.4 per pass. Rushing, Kendre Miller, 38 for 250. Amari DeMercado, 16 carries for 120. I mean,
Offensively, they're not bad, Terry.
no.
Offensively, they're not bad. But
They got
defense
600. They got
needs some
600.
work.
Yeah, 646 rushing yards on the season, 884 rushing. They got big receivers. It's one thing that
6'4", 6'5" receivers.
yeah, Venables. You can tell kind of worried them. They got big boys, and they're out and they can all catch it. They're all like throwing it. So, Darius Davis, Jordan Hudson both have 7 catches, 100 plus yards. Tay Barber, 8 catches for over 100 yards. Man, they spread the ball around. They've got like 6 or 7 guys with 5 or more catches. They got about 7 guys with 5 or more catches. So they get the ball around quite a bit. But a whole new system in It's a lot like Oklahoma. It's a whole new system. Gary Patterson is now a Longhorn.
Except they're at 3-0.
Yeah. And that's the thing about this. We couldn't even enjoy the Texas loss Saturday.
I know.
I mean, we were all out there cheering and laughing. And
did you see that big fight between Texas Tech and Texas fans out in the
Taco
Bell parking lot or wherever it was?
Well, I like what Gabe Eichert said on the huddle yesterday. You touch a player, storm the field. It's a great college tradition. Was not for that, but if you touch the player, be prepared. He basically said, be prepared to get your ass kicked.
I'm not going to walk up to no 6'3", 245-pound defensive end and try and knock him down.
What would make you?
I feel like I'm just smarter than that, Terry.
I mean, I don't understand.
Now, if I had some pads on him, but I'm not going to just run up on him and try and knock him down.
But I mean, it was both ways. There's now videos of a Texas player shoving a girl in the back up. I mean, everybody's got to behave in those situations, or they're going to stop that tradition. It's going to become too dangerous.
It's not legal now, Terry.
Yeah, it's not legal, but nobody goes to jail for it. I mean,
I don't know how you could put. I mean, when we stormed the field in 2000,
when Oklahoma stormed?
I was there.
So if there's warrants out for Rob Mixon, or Debbie Mixon, Debbie Downer.
Oh, I'm like, I don't know her. But anyway, yeah, I did that. I will freely admit I was one of the people down on the field in the year 2000. And typically I'm not in agreement with that, because if you're storming the field, that means you're doing something you've never done before, kind of a deal. Doesn't it?
I mean, but Oklahoma hadn't in 10 years.
A while, yeah.
It's been a while. Oklahoma was nothing in the 90s. We
not
were
much.
Struggling mightily.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not totally against it, and I get it because I did it. But I don't know if you beat Texas in the regular season, do you do it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oklahoma. I don't think Oklahoma would. I don't think Texas would. I mean, you look at last year. I mean, look at the close game. Last year's OU Texas game. There was no storm in the field last year.
Well, here's the thing: Texas and Texas Tech, neither one of them are ranked.
Right.
I mean, when we beat Nebraska, they were ranked number 1.
Yeah.
And I think we were 3 at the time.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. And we'd come in the year at like 22 or 23, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a little different. You beat the number 1 ranked team in the nation, who has been pretty much a juggernaut.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They were in the 90s. They were it.
Yeah. Yeah, they were.
But
it's a little different.
I think the fans handled this a little bit better than what we've seen. The last couple of years, we knew last year, especially, it's like we were talking to Toby. We knew something was wrong last year. I wasn't mad. I was disappointed. You know what I mean? I was just like, doggone it. Because I don't believe in any way that this team was not prepared.
Well, realistically thinking about it, Terry, Brent Venables' first year, they're not his players. It's all new staff, new quarterback, new backfield. I mean, realistically thinking about it,
yeah. I
mean, it's logical.
Yeah. I mean, look, Bob Stoops, he went 5-4 his first year or something like that. 6-4, 7-4. I mean, in the next year, it took him, basically.
It took him a year.
Yeah. No, well, since he got the job, really about a year and a half, to get some of his guys in, they kind of the same situation. They went and got, a left-handed quarterback from Snow Junior College. And we were all like, who is this guy?
Right. Could throw it past the 30 with any velocity.
I mean, there's, first time head coach. I think he's more experienced. Well, I know he is. He was a lot more experienced than Bob was when he took him. He's older than Bob was.
He's got more rings under his belt.
And he knows how to prepare, and that's why I said, I think Oklahoma last year several times was not prepared for their games. They just weren't. They weren't. I don't think there was a good game plans for them. That's why I stood
No, rush
watching
through
games
drop
like
eight's
this
not
all
good,
last
good
year.
on anybody.
You know, even games that we won, I was like, the crap are we throwing out there? You know, I never felt that way in this game. I just,
So,
you know,
so how do you feel about Dylan Gabriel?
again, I really like, what Venables said Monday night. They give everybody Sunday off. He goes, a lot of teams, they would go on Sunday and then you get the Monday off. I love what he said. He goes, we do the Sunday, be spiritual, all this thing, get it out of your head, because cooler heads prevail. It basically gives everybody a day to cool off, whether it's a win or a loss. Reflect on it, because it seems to me that probably Sunday morning Brent was still like,
Oh yeah, so are we. But
And
overall, how's Dylan Gabriel doing?
the after sleeping, having a couple of sleeps on it. No, he's no Caleb Williams. No, nobody's going to say that. But really, he didn't have a bad game. He did not. He's just missing some throws in key moments.
Some wide open throws.
Yeah, some wide open. And that's what sticks here in our head. The Stoops throw. Yeah, it was wide open. There was another one was wide open. But then you go and look at the stats. Guess what, everybody? No, he's no Caleb Williams, but he's leading Caleb Williams in every category right now.
Yep, right now. And he's the 11th ranked quarterback, I think, in the nation.
Right.
Number
and that
11.
includes, folks, that includes rushing yards.
That's better than average.
Yeah. So no, he's not, he's not that type of athlete. I think he's a good leader. And now the more I sleep on it, it's like, okay, he's a good quarterback. He's a lot better than what we had before he got here. It's that simple. Caleb, we all knew was gone. We were hoping he was going to stay, but what we had, and I think, Toby even said it, we're talking about it. It's harder to read his play action, his fake handoffs than anybody he's ever called. And Toby's called a lot of games. He goes, I never know if he's given the ball or not. He goes, I can't tell. I think he does a lot of things good. I think you and I were talking about it. I think on the golf course that I think his height, and I think some of those he's trying to get it up over the lineman, maybe. I don't know. I mean, we don't make $1 million a year coaching. If we were coaching, we'd be doing it for like $1.50 an hour, probably. That's all they'd pay us. But I'm not.
They just pay me in tacos. I'd be okay with it. I mean, I'm a fat kid, so.
But if he's not a bad quarterback, yeah,
he's not bad.
I mean, when I got home Saturday night after the game, me and Caleb talked about it for a little bit. Caleb was like, "Oh my God, he's horrible." But you're always in that first negative, and that's what I liked. What Venable said was, it's why they don't meet on Sundays. Cooler heads prevail. Let everybody cool off. His staff meets later in the afternoon. They start going over the stuff, getting prepared for Mondays, and it's like, let it cool. And as the cool down period comes out, believe me, it wasn't because he overthrew Drake Stoops on that pass. He was wide open. That's not why we lost the game. It would have helped.
No.
It would have helped if we scored. But
I'm gonna tell you, the offense and Dylan Gabriel played well enough to win that football game.
Exactly.
They played good enough to win.
And so did the defense, but honestly, I fall this back. Yeah, I do. I mean, they hadn't played as well, but the penalties and the just the horrible timing of penalties. Fourth down, delay a game, and that was a bad call on our, we sub. You don't ever sub anybody in when you're going forward on fourth down. Everybody knows that. K-State just walks out on the field slowly because we're going to get the delay a game penalty.
I'm just gonna tell you, he had a $150 rushing, and we had a spy on him.
Yeah, no, that's true too. But yeah, no, the defense. didn't play up to expectations. And like, it's like Stoop said, there was just so many things that the defense was just on their heels. And I know I mean,
they were gashing that defensive line.
We are not Division I athletes. We're not, but we played sports at a high school and higher. You and I both have, and you can overexert yourself. You can try too hard. And when you try too hard, you're going to make mistakes. I mean, instead of playing within yourself. And again, here's, one of my instances that this happened with me. When I boxed, I was 15 years old. I was in National Junior Olympics. That's pretty high level for a 15-year-old kid, because on the other side of the bracket, there's a dude from New York named Mike Tyson. Okay. Mike Tyson.
You're pretty glad you didn't have to fight, right?
Mike Tyson was there. And there were some other, pretty big names that ended up being there. But my first fight, I hyperventilated. And when my dad had it on videotape, I got out of my plan. It got too much for me. I hit the guy, I hurt him. And instead of sticking with my plan of take your time, choose your punches, work in, work out, I hurt him once and I went after him. I never did that. I was not that kind of fighter. But boom, I hit him with right hand and he stumbles. And I'm like, oh, and next thing I know, I'm throwing punches for a straight, minute in Pike.
You went all Dan Cody on him?
Yeah, exactly. In Colorado Springs, where I'd been there for, 2 days, and my nose started bleeding. I couldn't breathe. He started hitting me. I got through the round and I went over and they were like, I couldn't talk and I couldn't breathe. They got the doctors in there and the doctor was like, he's hyperventilating, and my dad was just like, hey, you tried to put him out. And he goes, but that's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to box this kid, and that's not the level of this, but I can see what they're talking about. You get in that situation and you're trying so hard that you took a bad angle. You know what I mean? You did something that 99.9% of the time, and that you never practice, you do it because you weren't used to that situation and you overreacted. And I think that's what this defense did. The coaching staff couldn't pull them back. You know what I mean? And that was what Brent said. We couldn't stop it from happening as a coaching staff, and we got to be better. And then the team took responsibility. I was like Brandon Willis says, as a captain and as a leader of this team, I didn't stand up and go, guys, stop, take a breath, gather ourselves. Nobody did that. And I think that's
tackle the quarterback.
For God's sakes, trip him. Somebody come off the bench and tackle him, for crying out loud.
Talk bad about his mom. I don't care what you do.
It's a 15-yard penalty, not a touchdown. So, but I do. I mean, that's just me. I think the more I thought about it, and more I've thought about it, and listened to Brent talk. That's what we're calling him Brent. Yeah, but I'm telling you, there's only one king in Oklahoma. There's only one Barry Switzer. But you know what? Brent's pretty doggone close to him. He's got that serious, and then all of a sudden he'll throw a whip out at you, and you're just like, what?
So if Barry's the king and Bob is the prince.
Bob's the program now. Remember, he's the program guy. He's gone from Prince, it's king and the program guy. Of course, other guys, the traitor, Tebow. Brent's got to do something. There's got to be somebody will come up with a name.
Yeah, but he's got to earn it.
Yeah. I mean, and I think
we're ready to give it to him, but he needs to earn it.
But can you imagine? Now I see what I heard Teddy and them talk about him on the radio, just being in his presence. I mean, we've been at the coaches, so don't you walk out of the coaches show going, oh my God, that guy.
Right.
You feel much better. And it's not because he sit there and patty caked with you. He just told it like it was. And we're going to do this and we're going to do that.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good. I mean, And he brings that off to the players. And I couldn't imagine being a 21-year-old kid or a 20-year-old kid and being in his presence and listen to him talk to you to motivate you to get you to do what he wants. And then on the other end, you can tell he will flat out chew your ass up and down a wall.
In a second. So hopefully he's got that kid Hicks signing tomorrow, right? Or committing tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow. Yeah.
So everybody's saying he's coming to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So hopefully that loss didn't change his mind.
Yeah. I don't know that losses do, unless you just completely collapse. And I don't think anybody.
Like if Kansas beats you.
Well, it hadn't hurt Texas, for crying out loud. I mean, they keep recruiting, but I think the program recruits the guys. And I think Venables is 100% a program guy. Look at what this is. This is Oklahoma. And, Oklahoma hadn't won a title in 20 years. But you know what? For 22 years, Oklahoma has been in the mix every single year. These kids know who Oklahoma. It ain't like Bob coming in here in the early 2000s and Oklahoma wasn't doing anything for 12 years. Oklahoma's always been there.
We're in the mix. Always in the mix.
And now you got somebody like Brent coming in your home and talking you up. And, and he seems like one like Barry is mom and dad are the key. Barry, what was the one story you talked about when the dad asked if he wanted a beer? Barry, I don't think he said I didn't really like beer, but I wanted a beer, and he had like a Colt 45. That's my favorite beer. That seems to me how Brent would be, that just, but and I don't think any of it's fake. Barry was just, I'm going to relate to you however I got to relate to you. And I think Brent does that naturally. So I don't think, I think if you walk out of this game and you walk up to the recruits that were there and you go, see this? That's why I need you. We're not going to let this happen. And, this is why you're coming.
Yeah, we didn't get a finger on that quarterback.
Yeah.
We need you
but
to
again,
get there.
Like I said, everybody loses a game they're not supposed to. Alabama does every year, I mean, they haven't gone undefeated,
but they lost to the #1 team in the country.
Well, but
a little bit different.
But there's been years when they didn't. They've lost to A&M, and A&M ain't been the #1 team in the country. Clemson, lost to Syracuse one year, and I think that was the year they won the title. They lost to Syracuse. Again, I like what he said. It's hard. It's not easy. We're all fans sitting here and go, we should never lose to such and such. You know what? You're not out there. You can.
Right. Honestly, if I'm a player and the Texas game is looming, my mind's probably on that.
On game. Texas. Yeah.
It's a much bigger game than Kansas State.
Yeah.
Now, if you lose, then is it?
Yeah. And then, when you're coming off of they're kids, they come off of a big win down in Nebraska. Everybody went from, oh my God, we didn't know Oklahoma was this good. Maybe they read some of their clippings. Yeah, the coaches are supposed to keep that out. But again, they walked out there and they got set back on their heels. And, let's when we got beat by USC in the Orange Bowl, USC was not the best team in the country that year.
No.
Okay. Oklahoma was, and everybody knew it. Everybody said it. If we would have won that title, we were going down as the greatest team in the history of college football.
That was 08.
Yeah, because we put up ungodly numbers and our defense.
Sam Bradford.
Yeah, and our defense stopped everybody. But
arguably the best quarterback ever to play at Oklahoma. Arguably.
But one play, wasn't it Shepard? Not Shepard, the guy that muffed the punt. Starts with an S. Muffed the punt against USC. Anyway, he muffed it. Yeah, Lisa, tweet who it is out tomorrow. I can see it. It's not Shepard. Anyway, muffed that punt that turned that game around. Immediately, Oklahoma got on their heels and we never responded.
Never recovered.
And USC, I don't care what anybody said, USC was not better than us that year, but we got our ass kicked.
Really, right now, all we can do is see how we respond
Right.
this week.
Right. It better be good.
It better be good.
It better be good. So, if you're heading down there, be safe. And like I said, wish me and Rob luck on the old Lexington Bulldog golf tournament that our 4-man scramble team brings home some cash.
I plan on putting on a driving display. It's going to go like this. That's not how you do it.
Also, when Rob does get a hold of it, he gets a hold of it. But one of these days, I am waiting on you to just taking a practice swing and just falling over with a broken back. I've never seen anybody swing the club so hard on a practice swing. But
Mickey Mantle said, swing hard in case you hit it. I'm just trying to follow the man's advice.
That's good advice. Good advice. But no, we both had a pretty good round on Sunday. I'm hoping if we can continue that, we might, because we got Jeremy. Jeremy's a young fella, good golfer. So
Whippersnapper.
Yeah. And we got Legene.
How dare you?
No, Legene's a good golfer too. So we got a pretty good chance, but I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be like the old days, listening to it on the radio.
I know. It's going to be weird because we're not going to be focused on golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll do our best. But hey, what are you going to do? When people want you, they want you. You got to answer the public, right?
Well, yeah, we're making, $0 as a,
appearance fee.
As appearance fee.
Yeah. So,
and so, there's always that.
Yeah. I think it's free food. So,
hey,
yeah. But anyway, well, guys, that's a podcast. Thanks for listening. Make sure and hit the subscribe and that little bell thing here on YouTube, whatever you're listening to us on, subscribe. Also, do us a favor, share us with your friends, get us more listeners and more YouTube viewers. And again, go to flaskcap.com and get your drink dispenser. It's a great deal. Boomer Rob.
Sooner Terry.